Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal. As we know, Palantir earning is due on Monday. In this video, we will evaluate if Palantir can be able to beat earnings and how much, and how high or low it can go after earnings. Now, let's get started. You see Palantir earning projections and the actual historical data for last 6 quarters. Take a look. It's a mixed picture. Out of 6 quarters, 2 quarters they missed the earnings, and 4 quarters they were able to beat the earnings. So overall, on average, they were able to beat the earnings about 10.89%. So looking at this data, it's hard to predict if Palantir can be able to beat the earnings or not. But if you look at other AI companies who release the earnings, for example, AMD, SMCI, and Taiwan Manufacturers Company, they were all able to beat the earnings. So we can expect that Palantir should also be able to beat the earnings. And the next question is how much? Let's try to find out. So this quarter's earning projection is 0.08, and the last quarter actual was also 0.08. So earning projection is not going up compared with the last quarter actual. Now the question is if Palantir stock will go down after earnings, like SMCI and AMD. Well, it depends. If Palantir misses the earnings or beats the earning with a very minimum margin, for example, 2% or 3%, then possibly yes, Palantir stock can go down. But in my opinion, chances of earning miss for Palantir is minimum. So we can expect that Palantir should be able to beat earnings, but not with a very high margin. And I expect that maybe they should be able to beat earnings probably about 5 or 6%. Now let's try to find out price projections for Palantir after earnings. You see this table on your screen. I updated this table with the latest adjusted closing price for Palantir and also EPS forward, EPS trailing 12 months, P ratio with respect to trailing 12 months EPS, and P ratio with respect to forward EPS. We also call it forward P ratio. At this point, the forward P is 72.91. That's high compared with other AI stocks, for example, AMD, Nvidia, and SMCI. I have another table that has trailing P and the forward P for last 10 quarters, and also the median, minimum, average, and the maximum forward P for last 6 quarters, because last 6 quarters are more relevant compared with all 10 or 11 quarters. And also have the EPS projected and actual for last 10 or 11 quarters, and also the earning projections for next 4 quarters. That is this table. Plus, I have the earning surprise for all 10 quarters. Or rather, they were 13 quarters, not 10 quarters. So out of 13 quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times Palantir missed the earnings. So almost 40% of the time. So not a very good history of beating expectation. Now I also have this table that has minimum, average, and the maximum earning surprise. So minimum I have 0 because they are negative earning surprise, so I don't want to use it to calculate my price projections. Now I have all the data, so I can calculate the minimum, average, and the maximum price for Palantir after earnings. So I already calculated this price. That is 13.17, 21.79, and 27.34, the maximum. I'm using the same formula which I use for other AI stocks. That is EPS forward times minimum value for the forward P. And the third factor is Q39, and that is the minimum earning surprise, that is 0 in this case. So that gives 13.17, and the average, same formula, earning EPS forward. The second factor, S32, that is average forward PE for last 6 quarters. And then the third factor, the average earning surprise for last 13 quarters. And then the maximum EPS forward times T32, that is the maximum forward PE for last 6 quarters. And the third factor is the maximum earning surprise percentage, that is 0.25. So that gives 27.34. So in my opinion, Palantir should be trading between these three levels after earnings. So at this point, Palantir is 23.33, and this makes sense because few days back I made a video and I had an opinion that Palantir should go up from there because it was already around 22. So there was some room for Palantir to go further up before earnings. And the highest point Palantir touched so far is 2750. So my price projection for the maximum value is about 2750, that is 2734. That's all about Palantir price projections before and after earnings. I just wanted to make this video to share with you my analysis about Palantir price projections after earnings. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more tomorrow. Take care.